All right, but now, my friends, let's go ahead and move on to the first challenge of my belated Christmas party biddy-thon, right? And the first challenge is doing a tier list, a ranking of 60 plus Christmas movies. Classic Christmas films, animated Christmas films, genre bending ones that incorporate elements of action, science fiction, horror, everything across the board. It doesn't contain every single Christmas movie, but I think 60 plus is pretty good, in my opinion. So we'll just go ahead and we'll just get started. I also want to hear your thoughts on this list as well. But let's go on and get started, chap. Starting with a Christmas Carol, specifically Bobby Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol. Now, the thing is, the animation of this in this movie is horrifying. Like, it looks better than the animation in Polar Express, because it advanced a little bit, but it's still weird and uncanny, and every character has dead eyes in this. There's two things I appreciate about this movie. Oh, and the one last negative thing is, like, there's just like these animated action sequences that just kind of extend the running time that I just kind of found monotonous and just kind of pointless to the overall thing. But there's two things in this movie that I think are good. Number one is Jim Carrey's performance as Ebenezer Scrooge. Like, he's actually really good as Scrooge, both in the more over the top sequences, but also in the dramatic elements too. Those dramatic moments, I think, with him are quite great. And I do appreciate that it's, I guess, a closer adaptation. It's a bit darker. It's more of a horror story than a lot of Christmas Carol adaptations that we've gotten over the decades, over the century. I mean, everyone has their favorite Christmas Carol. There's many on this list that I'll be getting to, but it's not one of my favorites. It's okay. It's okay. It's elevated, I think, thanks to Jim Carrey and some of the horror elements. I think that's cool. So for me, I don't hate it, but it's fine. I would say it's C. I would say it's C. There's that. And then we get to immediately one of the greatest Christmas films of all time, A Christmas Story, directed by Bob Clark. Funny enough, who also directed another Christmas movie in the 70s, tonally the opposite, in a completely different genre, Black Christmas. This is crazy that the guy directed these two seminal Christmas films. But I think he's probably best known for this movie, and for good reason. It's a Christmas classic. I love the time period where it's set in the late 1940s, I believe, and we're just following this kid Ralphie, who's kind of a little shit, right? He's flawed. As everyone is, as every kid is. He's just growing up, going to school, hoping to get the present that he wants the most, the Red Ryder BB gun, for the holidays, and it's kind of like a slice of life movie. We see what his father is doing. We see what his mother is doing. His little brother and his little snowsuit always falling over. He's got to deal with bullies. He's got to, he's messing with his, his friends. They're, ratting on each other. It's kind of like a perfect film. And it's timeless because of its really unique and fun setting. Like, I love that this is set in 1940. The Christmas leg, of course. It's hot as hell. Yeah, it's S tier. This is easy S tier in my opinion. I think anything lower, it would be sacrilegious. It would be a sin. I would go to hell. You gotta put it at S tier. Maybe H. Some people are saying Christmas Story gets an A or S. I agree, Devin. I agree. And Trailblazers, Jim Carrey. He's the reason why that movie is as good as it is, which is it's not really great, but he's the best thing in it, in my opinion. Bad Boys says, I love A Christmas Story. Didn't grow up with it. I saw it first and I was no, really, I grew up with this film. I mean, I would watch this. I owned this on VHS. I saw this at a very, very young age. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I fell in love with it. And I was watching this pretty much like every year, several times, during the Christmas holidays. It was great. And funny enough, I haven't watched it this year. I feel like I got to rectify that before, at least at some point before we get to the new year or sometime within the month of January. But a wonderful movie. A Charlie Brown Christmas, a great animated special. I think we all have our favorite Charlie Brown special. You got the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. You got, Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, some of the other ones in between. But Charlie Brown Christmas, it's great. It's just that it's very comforting special. It has a very pleasing aesthetic. It's very warm. The music in it, the jazzy score is great. And like many of the other Charlie Brown stuff, it's melancholy. It's bittersweet. And yeah, it's great. Like, I mean, it's hard because are there other Christmas movies that I like more than it? Yes, but I can understand it being like S tier. It might be A. I mean, it's either very high A or S. I think for right now, how I'm feeling, chat. Anyway, here we go. You know what? That swig of rum, I think I'm going to give it a nice S tier. I think it's a nice S tier. Boom. All right, Chad, this one you're going to get mad at me. Arthur Christmas. I've never seen it. I've never seen Arthur Christmas. I know a lot of people I know who have seen it say, like, this is one of they grew up with this movie. It's a Christmas classic for them, and I just haven't seen the movie. So I have to just put it in never watched. Hamilton, I'm sorry. What shame? I'm sorry. I just never watched it. I don't know. So I don't have an opinion. I have no opinion. Not available. King DJ, thank you so much for subscribing. Good to have you. What's up, Chris? How's your? It's been amazing, man. I was gifted some secret Christmas presents by the chat. Some wonderful, wonderful things. I got a Green Goblin mask. I got a fucking movie replica Green Goblin mask I can wear. I can become the Goblin. It's amazing. And a wonderful gift card, too, to Ellen Drug House, which Katrina and I will most definitely use. It's been great, man. And thank you guys here for all the support. Never heard of it, says Biggie Smith. Deadpool says B tier. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I'll rectify that one day. Oh, this is Bad Santa. I have not seen Bad Santa in a while. It's probably been a decade, I want to say, since I've seen this movie. And it's like, this cool, crass, Christmas comedy, R-rated comedy. Billy Bob Thornton, I think, does a very good job. He has a strong supporting cast with him. I think what with my mind, it's like I always think like Bad Santa 2, which I think is just lesser in every conceivable way. Like a lot of comedies, not all, but a lot of comedy sequels are. So I shouldn't force them together. But Bad Santa I always found very, you know what, Bad Santa, I'm gonna go A tier for Bad Santa. Bad Santa, I'm gonna go A. I'm gonna go A for Bad Santa. Although I haven't seen it in a few years. Next one, Die Hard. Die Hard, Chad. Die Hard is one of the greatest action films, if not the greatest action film ever made. I think you can make a very good. I think we could say like, well, this is my favorite action movie. That's my favorite action movie. But if you bring up Die Hard in the conversation, it's like, well, yes, it introduced so many things. Like it reflected so much of the things that we saw with action movies during the 80s, but also kind of reinvent them in a way, by introducing the everyman action hero to the mainstream, because before this, like Bruce Willis, he was a TV guy. He was doing, what was it, moonlighting? People were laughing when he was cast to be this supposed like big action hero. And the history with Die Hard is fascinating, like what this movie could have been, all the various versions. But it has fantastic action in it. It's funny. Bruce Willis' performance as John McClane is great. He's a very flawed person, as is everyone in the movie. And then it also gifted us Alan Rickman in his first performance in film ever. This is his first movie credit. What a great one to start with. He's like kind of what you think of when you think 80s villain. You go to Hans Gruber. And just rewatching it again, it's so great, so funny. Of all the other great supporting cast. Love Argyle in the movie. Carl Winslow, of course, started his career just playing cops and everything. It's like, yeah, it's a fucking bro movie too. It's just this wonderful, loving bro relationship between these two guys on the radio. Don't even know each other look like. It's beautiful. Like if I have to criticize it, it's good score, good action. There's some continuity errors, but the continuity errors are fun. They're not even like bad. Like it's just like yeah. It's like his shirt at one point goes from white to green and then back to white again, like in the film. It's weird. Oh yeah, Carl Winslow. What did I say? Oh yeah, Carl. That is the actor. That's not him. I don't know who the fuck I was thinking. Reginald Val Johnson. I was thinking of Reginald Val Johnson. That's who I was thinking of. That's right. But yeah, Die Hard is S tier. That's a hard one to beat. I think that's even better than Christmas Story. Yeah. And Joseph Assad, thank you so much for the 500 biddies. I appreciate that. Who the hell was I thinking of, Carl Winslow? Oh my Lord. Let me look that up quickly. Oh man. Oh no, that's his fictional character. I was in the ballpark. All right, I was right. I was there. That counts, all right? Listen, I'm telling you right now, when people see Reginald Val Johnson, they say, yeah, Carl Winslow. They think that's his real name. Oh, but Josh, seriously, Josh, Merry Christmas to you, good sir. Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for the very generous 500 biddies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So much crazy stuff has happened. Just doing a nice Christmas movie tier list has been going great. I'm confusing my black actors with their black characters. Oh, man. Let's see here. But yeah, Black Snow, the ambulance. It took me 4 viewings to notice, or 40 viewings to notice that. Yeah. I mean, I'd watched the movie so many times, and it wasn't until someone pointed out to me that, like, there wasn't an ambulance in the truck at all. Like, it would have been able to fit with all those guys in there. I was like, oh, it's true. And now I'm the guy that points it out to everybody. Because Katria, she's only seen, like, Die Hard. She's never seen any of the sequels and stuff, and she hasn't, like, seen, like, we watched Die Hard over Christmas, and she hadn't seen it, like, in, I forget how many years, like 10 or so years, and I was pointing all this stuff out to her, and it was pretty fun. I got to be that guy while watching the movie, but it's true. Devin and Truth Bruce Willis being a great action lead in Die Hard kind of echoes how people reacted to Keep Me. And, very similar. Very, very similar. So true. But yeah, it's a movie that is just easily watchable. If this is on TV or whatever, it's like, I'll start watching Die Hard. It's just great. And you just have a wonderful supporting cast of characters, the terrorist of all interesting personalities. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got some, like, iconic henchmen that have shown up in all sorts of other, like, amazing 80s and 90s action films. Yeah, it's a wonderful film. Nakatomi Plaza, it's just like kind of the insignia, the logo. Like, you still see that on T-shirts to this day. It's great. Yeah, actually, very much so. Oh, man. There's a theory that he plays the same character in Family Matters. I love that theory. And then he retires from being an LAPD officer and becomes a fireman for a less stressful job. That's great. That's brilliant. He's wearing the green shirt in the movie poster. Oh, my God, he is wearing the green shirt in the movie poster. You're right. There is. Al Leon. Yeah, he's the king of the henchman. He's in this. Has a great improv scene where he eats that crackle bar. That's great. Oh, man. Well, moving on from that, we got Elf. Chat. Elf is, I mean, not only is it a wonderful Christmas movie, it's one of Will Ferrell's best movies, one of Jon Favreau's best films. And it's funny because I haven't seen, I remember like last time I watched Elf, it's been a couple of years. We didn't watch it this year. I gotta rectify that, but it's aged very well. You have like these moments where it kind of pays homage to Rankin Bass. It's just a great concept. Like, what if a human was raised as a Christmas elf and he wants to go back and find his human family again? And it works. And Will Ferrell, he's fully committed to the role. And James Caan is like, this is such a movie that you would not expect James Caan to do, but he does a great job as the straight man. I think this might have been the movie, maybe outside of like Tiptoes for some people, but I think for a lot of people, this was their introduction to Peter Dinklage. And I'm sorry, but that whole thing where he sees Peter Dinklage like, oh, I didn't know you guys had elves. Oh, he's an angry elf. Like all that. It's so damn funny. I mean, if I have any criticisms, is like the third act. It's like when we gotta do Christmas magic Santa stuff. It's like, all right, whatever. You know, we gotta put in some drama. It's the weakest aspect of the movie. It's not bad. It's just like, all right, it's not as good as the initial first 2/3, but it's really funny. Also, you have the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. What's her name? Big eyes, her. She's in it. She looks really cute. You can understand why Will Ferrell's lusting after her. I love the non-politically correct moments. They're hilarious. Zooey Deschanel, that's who that is. Yeah, who looks like an elf. She's hot as fuck in this movie. And just Will Ferrell just screaming like when he's working in the Macy's or something, looking in the store. Santa! Just screaming. And he's like, you sat on a throne of lies. All that. Yeah, this is fuck, chat. I'm going to say this is S tier. This is S tier for me. Eloise. I don't know what Eloise is. Disney's Eloise. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to put that in never watched. I don't know. Four Christmases. I don't think I've seen this with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. I'm not sure what this movie is. I'm going to put that in never watched too. Frosty the Snowman. Oh, I love this movie. Katrina and I watched this over the holidays again. This was super fun. One of Rankin Bass's 2D movies. There's parts of it which, haven't aged well in terms of like, the animation and the sound design. But, I mean, this is our introduction to Frosty the Snowman, chat. Yeah, Jackie Vernon doing the voice from, of course, an alum from Microwave Massacre. He went from eating people to voicing childhood, animated characters. It's so good. Yeah, I like it. And plus, it's like you watch these Rankin Basses like as an adult, and you can just find so much stuff that's like unintentionally funny, and you can make it dark and twisted. Like the fact that like you had the main character, like or the main villain, the magician or whatever, literally murders Frosty, trying to get his magic hat back. It's like, dude, oh my god. Yeah, I'll say Frosty Snowman. That's A. I'm gonna say that's an A tier. It's not my favorite of the Rankin Bass ones, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That shit for Christmas will make you hate Christmas. Oh, really? Fair enough. It's not good. There you go. Where does Frosty take place? How did they get so close to North Pole? Trying to come. I know. It's all fucking nonsense in the movie. They don't even follow the Rankin Bass and they don't really care about the details. You know, they did not have any maps. They didn't have any cartographers working on the movie, no question. Gremlins, Chad. Oh my God, Gremlins is, well, you guys know I'm a huge horror fan, and I love a number of Christmas horror films. And Gremlins, I think, for a lot of people, is at the top of the list. It's just, it's also, I think, for a lot of kids, they're kind of one of the first movies they see that's like, ooh, shit, has like an edge to it. Like, it's dark and it's twisted. Not only because you have these like little fucking mythical monsters, you know, that tear apart this town and murder many of the denizens of the town. And they kill a lot of people in this movie. But you also just have these like other dark elements to it. Like the main character's girlfriend, or the person he wants to have be his girlfriend. Like, she has this dark story about her dad getting stuck in the chimney and he suffocated and he was rotting up there for like 2.5 weeks. It's like, Jesus, but then we didn't know where he was. And then we smelled it. There was a smell from the chimney. It's like, oh my God. So Gremlins is great. I love this movie. This is also A tier. Fuck. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna also put Elf over Charlie Brown Christmas. There you go. That's my ranking so far. Home Alone. I think many of us 90s kids, we grew up on this movie, watched it many times, whether it was Christmas or not. I think introduced us to Macaulay Culkin, huge child star. Love Joe Pesci in this movie, and Daniel Stern. They're such a great evil duo as the Wet Bandits. And I think it capitalizes on the idea of a kid's dream. Like, I just want to be alone for Christmas. I want to just play all my video games or play my toys. I want my fucking family, my brothers and sisters and all that. And it's like how exciting that is to have the house to yourself, right? You can do whatever you want, eat whatever food you want, which, you know, he indulges in the movie. But I then like where he starts to feel lonely. He matures as a character because he's a little shit. He's a little shit in this movie, and he gets better. You know, Kevin McAllister has a goddamn arc, and I like that. And he also might be a psychopath because he really fucks up those two guys. The traps are so iconic. So yeah, Home Alone I would say is also S tier. Very high S tier. I think I'm gonna put it like that. Yeah, right in front of Elf, right between Gremlins and Elf. Home Alone 2. Now, I know a lot of people love Home Alone 2. And I don't think it's a bad movie. It just feels very derivative. It's just like, okay, let's just do the same movie, except it's in New York. And I'm just like, You know, got some wholesome stuff like with the pigeon lady, but she's very much the old man from the first movie. The only, like, new element that I like in the film is Tim Curry. I remember Tim Curry being it's Tim Curry, so he's great. And so, yeah, Home Alone 2, this might be sacrilegious to some people, but I think it's a B. It's better than any of the other sequels that came after it, like, 3 and 4, and god damn, that most recent one, which was awful. But to me, it's a B. It's not a bad movie. It's just a very safe film. Doesn't do anything too new. Yeah. Yeah, every Christmas we watch Home Alone in this house, and when we grew up, we realized we'll never have a house as good as... Yeah, because his dad's like a fucking CEO for a major corporation. Also, it's funny if you watch the new Home Alone, which I don't recommend because it's an awful movie. It's the worst of the series, at least of the ones that I've seen. They mention, because Kevin McAllister's brother Buzz is in the film as he's a cop now, and he talks about his brother, and his brother also becomes the CEO of this huge security firm. I think it's called McAllister Securities or something like that. So he became a multi-millionaire, billionaire as well, just like his dad. But Home Alone 2 to me it's just a B. It's just a B. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Boris Karloff version, is great. I love this movie. I grew up on watching this over and over and over again so many times. It's probably my favorite Dr. Seuss. I think for a lot of people, it's their favorite Dr. Seuss story, Christmas special. Yeah, this This is very high. I gotta put this. Man, I gotta. Do I like this more than Home Alone? I think I might. Oh, I'll put it right there. I'll put it in between Home Alone and Elf. Really good. But yeah, easy S tier. Easy goddamn S tier for me. And now we have the live action How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now I actually really like this movie. It's flawed. Okay, it's funny enough. It kind of has some of the same flaws that Robert Zemeckis' film does. Not in terms of just like the look of it, not really being all that great. Like it's very washed out. Like, it's very blue and gray, where it's like, you look at the original Grinch animated special, it's filled with so many colors, and it's very vibrant. But for whatever reason, like, Ron Howard decides, like, let's just desaturate this thing. It's very bizarre. And most of the Who's, with the exception of Cindy Lou Who, they're just fucking dicks. You don't really like any of them. But like in, Bobby Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol, the thing that works so well about the Grinch is Jim Carrey's performance. He is fucking great as this character. He is so much fun. He apparently went through hell because he hated wearing the makeup and the effects and the yak hair. He had to drink and smoke to get through it. But it worked out. He's just really funny. I like the cover of the song too. It's great. So for me, this is This is a high B. This is a very high B. This might be the highest of the Bs. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like this film. Only good things, and I think that's fine. But his performance really selling. I liked his back. So I like the creepy baby Grinch too, the little animatronic. I just really like learning more about him and where he came from, how he was raised, how he became such an asshole. It's like it makes sense because the Who's were all assholes. I mean, it really makes you feel for the Grinch. You're on the Grinch's side throughout the entire movie. Like, and especially like, come on, Grinch, don't be a fucking dick. Like, the Who's are loud. Like, all right. But in this one's like, no, you're with the Grinch. The Who's deserve to have Christmas taken from them. But, Cindy Lou Who, she kind of, restores their honor and the meaning of Christmas and, helps the Grinch out too. So that's nice. But I think it's a very high B. I really like this film. It's a Wonderful Life. It's funny. I hadn't seen this movie in years. And I think this is Katria's favorite Christmas film. And, I rewatched it with her, obviously. I haven't seen it probably, 10, 15 years. And it's great. It's really good. And, so funny because, how the movie, initially starts out, it's not really, a Christmas movie until, the second half. And then we're in Christmas. But you just follow, good old Jimmy Stewart. When we see his life from the, the late 19-teens all the way up into the 1940s, right after World War II, which, plays a role in the plot. And as this character of George Bailey and just his life and these aspirations, but he has all these things that he wants to do, but that effective where he's not able to accomplish them. And he's very frustrated by that. But then you see if it wasn't for him, all these other amazing things wouldn't have happened to these people in this town. And I think that what really clinches the movie is the ending and I got watery-eyed watching it again. Of how everyone came through at the end for him because they know he's helped. He's the richest man in town. That's what his brother. He's this World War II hero. He comes in and he says to my brother, the richest man, and he is because he affected all these people's lives in such a wonderfully positive way, and he realizes that, and he has his loving family. He's like, oh my God. And it kind of is a little dark too, because part of it is he's like, I gotta off myself because I feel like he's ruined and his company's ruined. Not even his mistake. And the thing is, not even his goddamn mistake. It's that goddamn lunatic brother-in-law of his, or cousin or something. It works for his uncle. He's a goddamn crazy ass uncle. Works for the company. And Mr. Potter, my God, he is now I understand why he's top tier villain for a lot of people. He is so fucking despicable in that movie, and he does a lot of foul shit. But yeah, It's Wonderful Life is easy S tier, I'm gonna, man, this is hard. I'm gonna put it right there. S tier. Mr. Potter's evil. Jingle All the Way. Okay, so Jingle All the Way is a very guilty pleasure. It's one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's comedies. It's not on the level of something like Twins or anything, but it's certainly better than Junior. I think we can all agree to that. We do got some iconic lines in the movie. Put the cookie down. You got that, which is always great. And it's just, Arnold Schwarzenegger who owns a like a mattress company or something like that, you know? Selling Lazy Boys and shit. You know, his little son, Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd, he just wants this Turbo Man action figure. Arnold, who's been kind of, you know, I guess a little, I mean, not really neglectful. He's just, hey, the reason why his wife and his family have this amazing house is because he fucking puts goddamn food on the table. He brings in the money, okay? He bankrolls all that shit. And so I think they should give him some leeway sometimes, right? Because he's so goddamn busy. But you got Sinbad's in it as a crazy kind of terrorist mailman, which I guess is appropriate. And they have a great back and forth in the film. You know, not only the humor works, I love the Santa battle in the movie. It's pretty good. You know what? It is very solid B tier, Dilmer. I think so. Deadpool's like, that shit's super S tier for you. I get it. I grew up with this movie. I liked it. You know, I think it's one of his better comedies. I'm going to say this is S tier. It's right between The Grinch and Home Alone. I think Jingle All the Way, too. This is Bobby Sacrilege to say. I think Jingle All the Way is better than Home Alone 2. That's just me. Love Actually. All right, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm not a big fan of Love Actually. I've never really liked this movie. I think there's some individual performances in the film that are good, but these people are kind of assholes. I just really don't like anybody in the film, you know. It's like, these guys are all kind of scumbags. Now, to be fair, I've only seen it once, but I just remember being, like, really turned off by it and being like, yeah, I don't like it. But a lot of people think this is a Christmas classic. Some people say it's one of their favorite romance movies. And I'm not like one of those guys where I poo-poo on romance movies. Believe me, there's some romance movies that I absolutely love. Like Silver Linings Playbook is one of my favorite romantic movies, comedies, if you will. But I've just never cared for this film, to be honest, guys. I don't think it's F tier, but I don't know. It's like a C for me, I guess. It's fine. I think I actually want to put up. I think the Bobby Zemeckis' Christmas Carol is better because at least I have Jim Carrey to kind of hold on to. Yeah, there's no love in the film. Yep. Bad Boy, I generally love Jingle All the Way. It's funny, but I watched that one all the time even outside of December. Oh, sure, as a kid. Yeah, me too. Yeah, hey, Love Actually. Okay, so all right, it's not too much of a hot take. All right, I know a lot of people that love the film, but Miracle on 34th Street's a classic. I have to admit, I have not seen this movie in a very long time. I think the last time I watched this, I was in high school. It was for Cinema Club, and I remember really enjoying it. Where it's basically a guy that says he's Santa Claus, thinks he's Santa Claus. Maybe he really is Santa Claus, or maybe he's insane. It's a very interesting concept. And they did a remake too with oh God, what's his name? Richard Attenborough. It's also pretty good. I'm gonna say this is A. I'm gonna say this is a nice A tier movie. This is an A tier movie. Yeah, I love the original Miracle on 34th Street. It's a great film. I have a few like blank spaces. I'm trying to remember all of it, but it's a very good film. Next one is and this, I guess, is the remake, Miracle on 34th Street, which I've also seen. I saw those films very close together, and I also really like this film. I'm gonna put it right behind the original. There's actually a really nice scene in the movie where, and it sticks out in my mind. I think you guys probably seen this. Where at one point in the film, Richard Attenborough's Santa Claus is talking to a girl is interacting with a girl who's deaf, and she signs to him. And Richard Attenborough actually knew how to sign, and that girl's reaction was genuine because she didn't know he was going to do that. And I thought that was like so sweet. So I think both the original and the remake are quite good from what I remember of them. Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin. I've never seen Mixed Nuts. I've heard of this movie. I've just never watched it, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to put that right next to Eloise. Sorry. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I love this film. To me, it is like head and shoulders right next to the original Vacation, which is one of the best like 80s comedies. Like, you gotta remember, guys, like Chevy Chase back in the day was like a huge fucking deal. He was like for a long time like the star of SNL. And he was also very funny. He's a huge prick in real life, but the man is talented. And him as Clark Griswold, even if like all the film, you have the other two movies. You have the European Vacation, which was the direct sequel to the first one, and you have Vegas Vacation. I didn't mind Vegas Vacation. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think European was the worst one. It was like the one I was like, I didn't care for it. Not even bad. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't find it funny. But Christmas is like, oh wow, the third one, fucking great. Yeah, it's just, more antics with, Clark Griswold and his kids who change age and look in between all the films. It's a great comedy. Chevy Chase is at an absolute 11 in the movie. Whether he's being a dork or being a psychopath, going back and forth throughout the film. Chevy, he's a lovable prick, and he's a lovable prick in this movie. I think there's one point, there's so many parts in the movie where I think he has, like, his neighbors. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus is one of the neighbors, but she's, like, part of the couple. I think the husband, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like, because they see, like, Clark trying to get the fucking tree inside the house, and his neighbor is like, Griswold, is your tree big enough? And, Griswold, like, turns to him and he goes, yeah, and I'll tell you exactly where I would shove it. And it's right up his ass. I thought that was pretty funny. Why is the carpet wet, Todd? All that. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, Christmas Vacation is awesome. I'm going to say this is pretty fuck. This might be like either low S tier or very high A tier for me. I'm gonna put a high A tier, and I'm gonna put it over. Oh man, Miracle 34, just because I haven't seen in a while. Shitter's full, Randy. It's so great. I'm gonna put it's the highest of the A tiers in my opinion. Very high A tier. Although I think you can make an argument that it is S tier, easily S tier. Okay, this movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I associate more with Thanksgiving, to be honest, because it also takes place on Thanksgiving. Like, the whole plot of the movie is Steve Martin trying to get home for Thanksgiving. So that's a Thanksgiving movie. But a lot of people do associate the film with Christmas as well, as playing on TV during Christmas. It's like fair, it's winter, I get it. We actually recently did a watch party for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Love the film. Steve Martin, John Candy do such a wonderful job. And of course, directed by John Hughes, who was a seminal writer and filmmaker. And like a lot of John Hughes movies, like, it's very funny, but it has this bittersweetness. It has this kind of tragedy to it, especially in regards to the John Candy character and what you find out about him. And also, I'm just, I'm a huge John Candy fan. I love him. Lost him way too soon, shit. I love this movie. I love Uncle Buck. Those two movies I usually watch around Thanksgiving, which we did together, which was a wonderful experience. So thank you for indulging me in that. But anytime I think of this movie, I think of, like, it was a recent, like, I think behind-the-scenes documentary interview series of Steve Martin. And there's this, in the documentary, the clip that I saw, Steve Martin, he collects all the scripts, like the original scripts that he has, and he has them, like, in these leather binders. And he was showing it to the person who was interviewing him, and it was the original script for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And he goes, like, the back, and he talks about how originally John Candy had this, like, huge, like, because, in the original film, spoilers, because when Steve Martin goes back, he puts it together like, oh, something's wrong here in regards to John Candy and his wife. And Steve Martin's like, goes back to the train station. He's all alone. He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, my wife's been dead for 8 years. I got nowhere to go or something. And it's like, oh. And apparently he had a much longer speech in the movie, and they cut a lot of it. And like Steve Martin was just kind of looking at it. You could tell he was like, he just said it was such a wonderful experience making that movie for him. He started like crying, and he's like, I had to put it away because he's all this flood of memories. It's a really special thing. So I associate this more with Thanksgiving, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is S tier to me. I'm gonna put it right here. I think it's comfortably right there for me. I love this film. Polar Express. I know for a lot of kids growing up, they love the Polar Express. And I think it's like on paper, it's an interesting fairy tale. It's weird, but that's fine. There's plenty of Christmas. We're going to get to some of these weird ass Christmas specials in just a bit, how weird they get. Like this, literally this train that takes to the North Pole for whatever. And you got all these people, taking care of you. It's crazy, but whatever. But the animation is horrifying. Like I was just watching a clip. I think it was maybe the other day. I think it was on like Twitter or something. And it was the scene where they have all the butlers come in and they're all dancing and not one of those fuckers blink. And it's just like, God, I'm just not a fan of this. I can't say it's awful, but I just don't really care for it at all. So yeah, it's not an F, but I'm gonna put it, I don't know. I haven't seen it since it came out. So I'll put it right there. It's C for me. Polar is B tier for Deadpool. This movie fucking sucks. It's horrifying when you watch it. Oh, yeah. No, even just some clips, I'm like, ugh. Just the animation just hasn't aged well. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Watch this again. Probably, like, when you think of Rankin Bass, I think this is a movie that comes to mind immediately. It does for me. It's a great story because you really feel sorry for Rudolph. They treat him like shit. Like, it's when he was born, they treat him like shit. The only one that initially loved him was his mother, and then his his paramour, his mate, his girlfriend, and then wife, right? But everyone else, and his weird fucking friends, we'll get to them in a bit, but his dad is talking shit about him. Like Santa Claus, his introduction to Santa Claus is like, Blitzen, what the fuck is this? Ew, you got to, Santa kind of implies to Blitzen that you got to kill your son, which is crazy. And then he sings a song about himself and then leaves. Santa's an asshole in this film, which is crazy because all these movies are kind of like, they have a shared continuity. And then, all the reindeer treat him like shit. And then he's just like, fuck it. I'm just going to leave. And, he meets Hermie, who is clearly gay. He wants to be a dentist. He's like, doesn't fit in. It's like, Hermie, you're gay. You're gay and you want to be a dentist. All right. But I love him. I love their sons. We're just a couple of misfits. Like, all that. That's great. You got Yukon Cornelius, who's insane. Silver and gold, silver and gold. You got the abominable snowman that's hunting them the entire movie. And you get the island of misfit toys, which is weird. Those toy abominations. And you got, was it King Moonstar, the Lion King of misfit toys? And that's the weird, and I love that. I love the weirder, Rankin Bass gets, the more as an adult I appreciate it. Because we're recently, rewatching Jack Frost. It's like, oh my God, this is insane. But yeah, all the songs are great. I like the animation. Yeah, this is S tier. I think this is what I think of when I think of Rankin Bass is this movie. King Moonracer, that's what it is. King Moonracer. Hermie is really annoying. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Let's go, Deadpool. Let's go. He said that justified. Yeah, right? Oh, God. He straight up is. Yeah, but this is great. I love watching this special. So this is, this is very high. This is very high. It's right there. It's like this, that's S tier. S tier for me. Scrooge. Listen, there's a lot of Christmas Carol adaptations. This is the 80s. This is a very, very, 80s Christmas Carol adaptation. Bill Murray's Scrooge. A little dark, which I like about it. Has a bit of a hard edge to it, which is nice. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I've always really liked this movie. So I'm going to say this is pretty, this is a good A tier for me. This is a good A tier. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to put it right there. A tier for Bill Murray. A lot of people love Scrooge. Scrooge, once again, I love them. Yeah, it's a dark comedy. That's exactly what it is. And I think it's safe in A tier. Really good movie. The Man Who Invented Christmas. Now, even though you guys are going to be surprised by this because it stars Dan Stevens, I've actually not seen this film. Is this does he play Charles Dickens in this movie? I just haven't seen it. I've always seen this recommended on Netflix or streaming services, but I've never watched it. So I'm going to just say never watched. I don't know. I just don't know, Chad. Right next to Mixed Nuts. Gasp. I know. I'm sorry. Muppet Christmas Carol. I was talking about this earlier before we started this, and this is my favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol. We've got a lot of Christmas carols. Watch this again. And, of course, so many classic Muppet movies, especially from the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. Grew up watching the Muppets, so I have a lot of just warm feelings about them. I want the Muppets to come back. I think Disney has been kind of neglecting them. But this was a movie that I watched so many times during the holidays as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult. And I think, it has a great aesthetic, wonderful aesthetic. I think this was also, this was the first one that didn't have Jim Henson. I want to say, because I think he had passed away by then. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget this was his last movie or this was the first one that he wasn't involved in. I forget. Any case. But it's a wonderful aesthetic, and it's really funny and heartfelt, and they got some great jokes, like having Gonzo play Charles Dickens. He's the narrator, is a smart choice. He's Rizzo the Rat steals the goddamn show in several scenes. But the reason why this movie works as well as it does is because of Mike O'Kane. Because he takes the material so seriously. He treats the Muppets like his fellow actors. And he gives a A+ S tier performance as Ebenezer Scrooge. He is so goddamn good. And you have some amazing songs in it as well. Marley and Marley. It's fucking, so good. Statler and Waldorf as the Marley. Making fun of Scrooge and shit. Oh, God. Giant Elf Man. Why, hello, Giant Elf Man, with the very generous 5,000 biddy donation. Because you, Giant Elf Man, we moved on to our additional challenges now. We hit, I think, 2 more goals. Seriously, thanks. Why, hello. Good to have you. Happy holidays to you. Goods. How you doing? Hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Hope you had a very nice holiday. Thank you for your incredibly generous donation. We're just doing a ranking of Christmas movies right now, 60 films, which has been super fun so far. But thank you so much. Like, I'll just go ahead and actually show you guys right here. Because of the generosity of Giant Elf Man, we've blown past several goals. Like, I still got to do my Marvel Rival Smash and Pass. It'll be very fun. Video game character Smash or Pass. And then after that, chat, we're going to be doing erotic Grinch fan fiction. And I think we're very close. We might have already hit Gingerbread Mayo Men. We might have. Let me go ahead and see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we hit it. We hit hey, chat, we hit every single goal, baby. Every single goal, chat. So we're going to go through all these up to Gingerbread Mayo Man. I'm going to eat that on stream. And then after that, after all these challenges are done, we're going to do a nice Robert Eggers double feature for The Vitch and The Lighthouse. So thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your incredible generosity. And so good to have you here. And everyone else's generosity as well. And cheers and salute to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Dat Chicken Wing, well, we're over the goal now. Dat Chicken Wing with an additional 2,000 biddies on top of all your generosity so far. Isaac, seriously, man, thank you, guys. Thank you. We've hit our goal and then some. Cheers and salute. Wow, whoa, wee, whoa. How much to not do that? We got to do it, baby. We gotta do it. With a little bit of a sprinkling of a bacon candy cane on there. I think I'll also eat a Polish rumball drizzled with mayo, completely lathered in mayo. That would be great. But thank you so much, and so good to have you here. Wonderful. And Space Cowboy, tell me of another 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. No, I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. I hope you guys liking the tier list. It's been very fun talking about this with you guys. But, just to wrap up, Muppet Christmas Carol is one of my favorite just Christmas movies, my favorite adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which there are many. This is also an S tier for me. This is very high on the list. I'm going to put this... I'm going to put this right here. It's going to go in between Planes, Trains, Automobiles and A Home Alone. And John Allman, thank you so much for resubscribing as well. Thank you. 43 months of incredible support. Good to have you here, Giant. I hope you had a very nice holiday, man. I hope you've been resting and recuperating, eating good food and drinking good drink. Very nice. Another, A Nightmare Before Christmas, which can be both a Halloween and Christmas movie. It works both ways. I think for a lot of kids, this might have been their first introduction, certainly of my age, of my generation, their first introduction to cinematic stop motion animation. And it's beautiful to look at. You have some great songs. Of course, story, ideas, character designs created by Tim Burton. Directed by Henry Selick. He deserves more. He deserves the lion's share of credit, obviously. But I always like this movie. I watch it at least once a year, either during Halloween or either during the month of October or during the month of December or January. Oogie Boogie is such a great villain. Great song. I'm the Oogie Boogie Man. I'm the Oogie Boogie Man. So good. So, Night Before Christmas. And this is also S tier, guys. This is S tier too. This is really up there for me. I have to put this pretty goddamn high. Ah, shit. Right there. Right there, my friends. The Santa Claus. Cool body horror film. It's funny because Katrina actually was watching it earlier this month and I hadn't seen it in years. And just watching the parts that I check out the second half of the film, just like, this is a crazy concept where you have Tim Allen who accidentally kills Santa Claus. Not really his fault, but he says, hey, and Santa freaks out, falls to the roof, dies. Like he's dead. Then disintegrates. And then Tim Allen decides to to please his son who is in fucking shock that Santa Claus just died. Puts on the suit, pretends to be Santa Claus, actually delivers presents, but is somehow infected by Santa's essence or some type of organism and slowly morphs into Santa Claus over time. It's really fucked up. It's a crazy concept. Like when you're a kid, you don't really think about it. It's like, it's funny, he's becoming Santa Claus. But as an adult, it's like, this is like some David Cronenberg shit. And I kind of appreciate it for that. You know, I admire it for that. So I'll have this be A tier. I think I'll outside of like Toy Story and maybe Home Improvement, this is the thing I think a lot of people associate Tim Allen with. So I'll go ahead and put Santa Claus. It's low A tier, but it's really the edge. In fact, that Santa DNA. Kurt's like a holiday werewolf. Yeah, it's like a holiday werewolf except he's Santa Claus forever. Yeah, he doesn't revert back to like Tim Allen human form. But it's like you take a moment to think about it. It's like this is fucking crazy, really weird. But yeah, solid film. I used to watch it a lot as a kid. Trading Places of Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. I have to admit, I have not seen this movie in a number of years. I do think it's very funny. It's also cool how it's kind of like this movie takes place in the same world as Coming to America. Because Coming to America is kind of a sequel to Trading Places or a spinoff, what have you. Because his characters, like the two rich guys, are featured in Coming to America, which is very funny. But yeah, Eddie Murphy's great. This is when Eddie Murphy was blowing up, of course. Dan Aykroyd, obviously an SNL alum, was doing great material at the time. Yeah, I love the concept. You take this rich guy and this poor guy. You switch their lives around. These old men are exploiting them. Placing bets on them. It's fun. It's a really good movie. To me, it's a really solid A tier film. I want to put it. I'll put it right next to Scrooge. I'll go right there. Really good. Bill Murray, solid A tier, but could be an S tier. Sure, I can see how people put this as S. It's a great comedy. It's just been a long time since I've seen it. But I don't really have any complaints about it. It's very funny. Very fun. Call Me Claus with Whoopi. I've never seen this before, so I don't know. I'm going to put that in never watch. I'm not sure. All right, Christmas of the Cranks. Fuck this movie. We got into our first F tier chat. Like, so far, like, a lot of these have been excellent, pretty good. Solid. Some I'm like, I'm not really a big fan, but I can see some merit. Christmas of the Cranks fucking sucks. Okay? I've seen that movie once. Like, Katrina and I, we were watching Christmas movies over the holidays. She, like, scrolled past it. She said, Christmas of the Cranks. I'm like, no. Not saying that she wanted to watch it, but I was like, I was repulsed when I saw it. I fucking hate this film. and listen, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but my God, she's terrible in this. So bad. I know you didn't want to watch it. I just saw you pass it. I think you mentioned you read the title. I was like, made me just go, bleh. I had a visceral reaction to it. Oh, for the record. Man, because of the Cranks, a perfect Christmas movie for people who agree. I suppose so. It really just shows you the misery of the holidays, I guess. The worst aspect of the holidays. Yeah, this is our first F tier. There you go. The Santa Claus 2. It's fine. It's like Santa Claus 2 and then the third one. I guess Santa Claus 2 is better than the third. Like the third one has Martin Short, right? He's Jack Frost. He's like an evil Jack Frost that wants to be Santa. I think Santa Claus 2, it's like his son, who is now a teenager, has grown up and he's acting out in school. Oh, and the other part is like, if he doesn't find a Mrs. Claus, he's gonna die. Which again, the body horror. And she also goes through a body horror transformation in the movie too. So he has to find her. Again, really fucking weird. Really weird. These Santa Claus movies. I didn't hate it, but I mean, thinking about it now, I guess it did certain aspects do stand out to me. I don't know. I guess I'll give it. I think it's C. Can I pass? Well, I don't blame you. I think it's C. I think it's a C tier movie. Right? It's in front of Christmas Carol. I'll do that. Doesn't she pregnant in the third one? That's kind of weird. So is the baby gonna come out? Like is he gonna be Santa Claus next? Doesn't make any sense. Oh, 8 Crazy Nights. All right, well, F tier. The Cranks have some company now, chat. 8 Crazy Nights. Now I will say this, which is so crazy. The animation in the movie is actually good. It's by the same studio that I believe that did like the Iron Giant, maybe some other stuff, and it's a very pleasing animation style that I like. But my God, just the story and the voice acting is kind of wretched. I mean, you do have some fun, songs. Yeah, it's a technical foul of Whitey and shit, but it's just kind of gross. Like at one point when like Whitey, who is just being tortured by Adam Sandler, I think there's this one scene where he's thrown to a porta potty, and the porta potty like rolls down the hill. He ends up covered in like liquid shit that then freezes. And then the reindeer come out and they start licking the liquid, like the frozen shit. And there's this one scene. It's stuck in my mind as a kid when I was like, "Fuck this!" And the reindeer smile. You see just their shit stained teeth. I'm like, ugh. I do like the one song at the end that that's how the Boopy song, where they're talking about how they're sad about Whitey. It's such a weird like moment in the film. I'm like, I kind of like that song. So I can think of things I can point to. Like, I kind of like the aesthetics of the like the look of this world. There's a couple of the songs I think are funny, but as a story and the characters, wretched. This is also an F tier film. I think maybe better than Christmas with the Cranks. I can't think of a single fucking thing I like of Christmas with the Cranks. So it has the honor of being slightly better than Christmas with the Cranks. Whitey is disturbing. He needs the mice. Chris Harris like kill him, put him out of his misery. Animation style, because the animation style is so wholesome and cute. It's the same animation style as the Iron Giant, which is great. It's just the story is terrible. And yeah, I think Adam Sandler, he does. Like, these were like songs he had created before the movie came out. It's weird. It's like a movie that was formed around songs. So just go away. Saw it the first time a couple years ago. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Ernest Saves Christmas. Now, I grew up on the Ernest movies. I've seen all of them. I've seen like all the like Ernest like shorts and specials and commercials that then just, led into the films, like Ernest Goes to Camp, and then, Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest, Halloween, Ernest Scared Stupid, as it was called, Ernest Goes to Africa, all that. And yeah, R.I.P. Jim Varney. What a wonderful talent. Wonderful talent. And I have to admit, I have not seen this movie in probably 20 years. But I've always liked them. I always liked the character. They're movies for kids. They're fun, goofy movies for kids. So for me, Ernest Scared Stupid, I think this is I think you can make an argument this is like super high B. Super high B, or maybe I'll give it A. I think it's better than the Santa Claus. I'll do that. I'll put it with A. Solid B. I'm going back and forth. It's either A or B. I'll put it right there for now. Let's out of respect for R.I.P. Out of respect for Jim Varney, right? Who at this point he's been dead for 20 years now. Isn't that crazy, Chad? Jesus. Let's have him be A. Fred Claus. I've never seen this. Is this the one with Paul Giamatti? I think this is the one with Paul Giamatti as Santa Claus. Is it Vince Vaughn? I've never seen this movie. I've seen clips of it, but I never watched it. So I'm gonna put this in never watched. I don't know. That is with Paul Giamatti. It sucks, fair enough. I like the idea of Paul Giamatti being Santa Claus. That pleases me. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could do that. But I've never seen it. It sucks. It's always on. I've never watched it either. Fair enough. He passed in 2000. Yeah, 24 years. He's been gone for almost 25 years. Crazy. It will be 25 years. That was just Fred Claus' a miserable film, and Kevin Spacey's in it too. Oh, shit. Fair enough. Wow. The Grinch. This is the Illumination Grinch. Oh, man. Illumination shit. Yuck. Ugh. But to be fair, I didn't see it. I just say that as I'm not an Illuminate. I just really don't like their work. Like, honestly, I think their best movie was the Super Mario Bros. Animated film. Like, I don't like the Despicable Me. I don't like the Minions. I understand why people like them. The Life of Pets. I don't like it. And to be fair, I never saw this one, so I don't know. He's too nice in this version. Benedict Cumberbatch voices him, right? He does the voice. The Grinch cartoon is harmless. It's just very safe. Yeah, like most of Illumination stuff. So, I don't know. I have to put this in never watched. I just don't know. Yeah. Now the verse, I don't like it. I've never cared for their work. It's like, what reference can we make to like pop culture, and like what song can we then put this to? Yeah, it's just like I just never cared for that. Home Alone 3. Home Alone 3 is not bad. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Obviously not as good as the first one. Not as good as 2. It's the least bad of the bad sequels. I will say that. Like, I like the kid. He does a good job. Instead of like 2, burglars, you got, 4 terrorists, I guess, trying to kill him. But the thing about it is, the thing that it that I think it makes the mistake of doing, it's just a repeat of 1. Where at the very least 2, it's like, yes, it's a repeat of 1 again, but at least they have it in a new location. Here it's like, okay, we're in a house again. And now it's more traps. They really lean into the traps in this movie. So if you like that, then you have that. But it's I don't know. It's C. It's C for me. I guess there. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll just put it there. Scarlett Johansson is the sister. Yeah, one of her first cinematic roles, I think. It's a gift from Max Keeble's Big Mover. I think you're right. That sounds right. After 2, I can take it or leave it with Home Alone. Yeah, same. I don't think I've even seen them all. I think I've seen 4. What was the one where it's like the Halloween one? I think maybe I have seen it. It's been so long, I can't remember. 4 and 5, I get confused constantly. And the most recent one is just awful. It was awful. That's 5? Okay. Malcolm McDowell, that's right. And I think this is Home Alone. Is this Home Alone 4? I can't even tell. I can't tell if it's Home Alone 4. I think this is Home Alone 4. I don't remember. I think I've seen this, and I can't remember it all. I mean, can we put an F tier? I don't think anyone's going to give a shit. I'll put an F tier. Oh, here we go. Body horror. More body horror. A lot of body horror Christmas movies, chat. Jack Frost is... it's funny, because this movie, I think, came out the same year as the other Jack Frost did, which is they're both kind of horror films, but it's when Michael Keaton becomes a snowman. And he's trying to reconcile with his son who's, going through it, because the year after Michael Keaton died and stuff because he was like a singer. He was on the road. I love it in the movie, they make a big deal. It's like, we got to get this band. And they're just doing covers of Christmas carols. Frosty the Snowman. He's doing a rock version of Frosty Snowman. It's like, oh shit, guys, we got to sign you up. It's like, really? Okay. I do love the body horror aspects of this. It's very weird and creepy. It's not a very good movie. F tier. I don't think it's F tier. Nah, I don't think it's F tier. It's C tier. It's a C tier. Some people are saying B. Some people are saying B. I'm gonna say it's the highest of the C tier. It's okay. Yeah, I don't hate this movie. I can understand someone saying you know what, this movie fucking sucks. I'm like, yeah, I can't argue with you. But there's things that I'm like, all right, I can get with. I can watch this movie. I wouldn't be offended by it. It's not that I'm like, oh my God. It's not to me. It's not like any of the ones in F. It just isn't. I'll do that. No DT. I decided not to do a D tier. I just went S, A, B, C, and then F. Yeah. To me, it's C. I'll say C. Just Friends. Is this the one where Ron Reynolds is in a fat suit? Yeah. Katrina says yes. I have not. I remember this movie was always on Comedy Central back in the day. And it would always pop up. And I don't think I've ever watched it all the way. I've watched that movie. I have watched the entire film, but in chunks over years. That's what it was. And I remember thinking it was okay. It's not. It didn't blow my mind. Automatic guys. People were saying fuck this movie. I don't know. It just didn't really leave an impression on me. This was back in the day where Ron Reynolds was pretty much Van Wilder. He was just kind of riding off of that, and people starting to get sick of him. It's so crazy that his career literally almost ended back in the day. I don't really feel anything for this. I don't think it was terrible, but I don't know. It was I'm gonna put this. I don't know. I'll put it in C. It's in C. Some people are saying Just Friends is low C. Low C. Yeah. I just don't remember anything about it. Just Friends gave me a few good laughs. Anna Faris saves the movie. Ryan Reynolds in a fat suit is just too crazy for me. That's a step too far. So Beavis Smith saying, a lot of people saying F. Some people F, B, C. I'll say C. Because there's nothing in that made me go ugh, I can't stand this. Last Holiday. Is this the one where Queen Latifah thinks thinks she's dying, but it's not really dying? Okay, I saw this movie, and it's also one of those movies where I went, It's whatever. It's okay. And it's so obvious that your paperwork got messed up. I don't fucking know. It's a meme. It just exists. It's just there. F. Some people are saying F. I don't know. I haven't seen this since the theater. It's the lowest of the C's. I agree. Lowest of the C's. Grandmother's House We Go. I don't know what this is. I've never seen this one. So I'm going to say never watched. I have no idea. A Madea Christmas. Here we go, Jim. A Madea. Now, listen. Now we're getting to the good shit. Now, A Madea Christmas. I've watched many Madea movies. I've seen, I want to say, most of the Madea movies. And listen, you can criticize Tyler Perry for a lot of things. Him as a director, his directing style, his writing, I mean, everything. His business practices, sure. But his greatest creation is Madea. All right? It's a fact. Okay, hello, it's so funny. And I like and this is all taken from his stage plays and stuff. And the whole concept of the movie is Madea is, I think, taking her daughter to visit her granddaughter, played by Tika Sumpter, who is hot as hell in the movie, by the way. Love Tika Sumpter. Seeing her again in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, she is gorgeous. But Tika Sumpter has not revealed to her mother and Madea. And Madea doesn't care; she's fine with it. But the mom hates white people, and Tika Sumpter's husband, who she married in secret, is white, right? And they have this farm. And then her husband's family, you have are played by, his dad is Larry the Cable Guy. Get her done, Larry the Cable Guy, and Kathy Najimy, who you've seen in stuff, Hocus Pocus and shit. And pretty much it's just Medea's daughter just being an absolute shit. Just racist to all the white people. And also you have the whole thing where this corporation is trying to take over the town. And for whatever reason, they all blame Tika Sumpter and her husband for it, right? And it's very funny. It's very funny. Also, the reason as to why Medea's daughter hates white people is hilarious. Because apparently her daughter's husband ran away with a white woman. I think initially it was the mom lied to Tika Sumpter saying that her husband was killed by a white man or whatever. He's like, that's why I've hated white people. That's why we hate white people. And then it turns out she fucking ran away with a white woman. Hilarious. And Medea's great. Medea's she's funny, but she also has these moments of speaking fucking common sense. She gives good advice in this film. And she calls her fucking shitty daughter out in this movie. She's just trying to vibe. She's trying to hang out with Larry the Cable Guy, get her done and all that. And they're great. The drama is always the funniest aspect of Tyler Perry's films because the execution is so terrible it becomes unintentionally funny, right? And that's why Acrimony is so great. That's why Obsession is so great. All those, Tyler Perry movies. Madea Christmas is fun. It's fun. It's fun. You know what? This is a B. This is a nice B, Chad. It's a good old B for me. B for Madea. Black. B for black, Chad. It's very appropriate. Oh, Obsessed About I get confused. What are they? What's Acrimony? At Acrimony, you have. Damn you. Well, it's perfect. B for black. Oh, man. Oh, God. What's the one? Oh, shit. Oh, damn. I'm trying to think of the one. Temptation. Thank you. I was thinking, what's the goddamn thing? Tempting. B for blacklisted. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, Unaccompanied Minors. I've never seen this movie, but there is a line in it that's very funny where I think it's a bunch of kids stuck at an airport. And it's where this one kid who's kind of the most adult out of everybody. And it's I don't know, they get into this bagging area and the kids are fucking going wild. And the one kid's Jesus Christ, Lord of the Flies in here, which I thought was very funny. I thought that line was great. But outside, I've never seen the film, so I don't know. So this goes at never watched. Oh, that scene was very funny. R. Kelly's favorite movie. Oh my God. Ugh. Yeah, I know. R. Kelly's favorite movie. Crazy titles. This is Paul Feig's first movie? Wow. Oh, the Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell. I like this movie, and I like the second one. First of all, Kurt Russell's Santa Claus is just brilliant. Also directed by Christopher Columbus, who, of course, did Home Alone, obviously. This is a very charming little movie. Very charming film. I like it. I just love, you guys know I love Kurt Russell. He's great. He's so great. And he's just perfect as Santa Claus. Kind of like a badass Santa, too. Wholesome and badass. So I'm going to say this is, I'll put this right here. I'm going to put that right next to Bad Santa. I'll go next to Bad Santa. That's a good A. Good solid A. Didn't care for this one. Gave it a C for me. Damn. I remember liking it. I like that one in the sequel. I don't think the sequel's up here, but if it is, I would put it up there. Noelle, I have never seen this. I don't know. It looks like you have, what's his name? Barry. Never seen it. That goes right there. Noelle. Noelle's okay. Office, Christmas Party. I never seen this one. Some people are saying this movie's terrible. Someone mentioned earlier that they were like, fuck this film. Bill Hader, thank you. I was like, Barry. I was like, what the hell is this guy's name? Bill Hader, of course. Great. Yeah, and you have what's her name in there, too. Anna Kendrick. Never saw Office Christmas Party. There's everywhere is the one that hated it. I've never seen it, so I had to put it, never watched. The Preacher's Wife. Never seen this. Don't know. Which one is this one? There's another Rudolph movie. What is this? Is that Rudolph Shiny New Year? I can't fucking tell. I have to hold on, Jay, give me a second. I gotta increase the. Oh, Rudolph on the Island of Misfit Toys. Oh, have I seen that one? I don't think I've seen that one. Because I've seen Rudolph Shiny New Year, which is fucking weird. I love how weird it is, though. So cool. I've seen Rudolph's Christmas in July. I've seen it's good. I just haven't seen it. I don't know. I'm going to put it never watched. Can't believe I've seen it, because I've seen a lot of Rankin Bass's stuff. I've seen most of their stuff. That's the CG animated Rudolph that was made many years after Rankin Bass closed. It's freaking. Oh. Santa Claus 3, another one of those is like, okay. Like, I saw this, but I know Martin Short's Jack Frost. And Mrs. Claus is pregnant. That's it. That's all I know. Rocking that baby bump. I'll put it at C. Yeah. Santa Claus Coming Down. Katrina and I rewatched this movie. I love this film. You put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door. I love this movie. This is great. Mickey Rooney is the voice of Santa Claus. Oh, that's great. Yes, you have this. You have Topper the Penguin. You got the Winter Warlock. You have the Burgermeister Meisterburger. Very funny. Yeah, I really like this movie. Also connected. It's the same continuity as all the other Rankin Bass films. Santa Claus is coming to town. This is good. I've always really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to put this... shit, man. I think it's a super high A. But you can make an argument this is S tier. I don't really have any issues with this film. It's just fun. I'll put it like super high A tier. Super high A tier. It's really good. Really good. Santa Buddies. I've never seen any of these other like Air Bud movies. I've seen the original Air Bud, which is good. I saw the one where he plays football. And then I didn't see any of the other ones. I know they did like soccer and shit, and I guess then he bred and he was so intelligent that his puppies could talk. But I've never seen any of these movies. Everyone's like, Esther. I'm gonna put never watched. Santa with Muscles? I've never seen this one. Nope. SpongeBob Christmas? I don't think I've seen this. I watched a lot of, I remember when SpongeBob came out. I remember the debut of SpongeBob SquarePants, right? It's when he goes to work for the Krusty Krab for the first time. It's actually like 3 episodes. Episode A, B, and C in that 22 minutes. And I feel like I've watched Christmas stuff from them, but I don't think I've watched this Christmas special. I don't know. Dav and I have seen SpongeBob Christmas. It's so good. Fair enough. I don't think I've watched it. I don't remember. So I got to put never watched. The Night Before. I actually remember liking The Night Before. It's been a few years. I haven't seen it since the theaters. But yeah, Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who we don't really see anymore. I remember thinking this was pretty funny. I like this. This was solid. I don't know, I'll put B. I guess I'll put a B. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, I'll put it at a nice B, solid B. It's just been a while. But I remember like, this is fun. I'll go a little higher. I'll go right there. I'll go right there. 'Twas the Night. I don't know what this is. Never seen it. I don't know. Never watched. I don't know what the fuck this one is. Which one's this? The Ultimate Christmas Present. Is that a Disney Channel original movie? I don't think I've ever seen that one. I've seen a lot of Disney Channel original movies. I don't... that one doesn't ring a bell. I don't remember it. It's the weather... was it the one with the weather machine? Oh, I have seen this. No, thank you, the weather machine. Okay, yes, I remember this movie. Yeah, it's like when I think the villain of the film is the guy who played Zelensky in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV series. I think he's the villain. Okay, that was a fun film. I don't mind that one. You know what? I'll go highest of the C tier. We'll go highest of the C tier. We'll do that one. And then why him? Fuck this movie. I remember watching this in the theater and being so mad. Like, the whole concept is Bryan Cranston, his wife's daughter, is engaged to James Franco, who is this, like, billionaire, like, entrepreneur who's a fucking douchebag. I just remember, like, oh, God. This is, like, I think this is one of his first movies after Breaking Bad, or it might have been, like, towards the last season. I was like, what the fuck, man? I hate this movie. This movie's pretty bad. This movie, oh, man. I think, that might be the worst one. I forgot that took place at Christmas. Ugh. It was a documentary then. It was a documentary. Why him? No, thank you. Yeah, why him indeed. Oh, this is an ugly film. But yeah, chat, boom. There you go. 61 Christmas movies. Listen, there's so many other Christmas films that could have been added to this list. A lot of Christmas horror movies that I would have easily added, like Black Christmas. That would have been S tier for me. Krampus would have been like high A tier. I really love that film. Silent Night, Deadly Night. That would have been up there. I really like the first Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like, there's others there, but they had a good, group here. There's a lot of good ones. But yeah, just to reiterate, chat, I don't think this is a very controversial list that I have. I know Holdovers. Holdovers would be S tier. I love the whole. We watched the Holdovers on Christmas as well. That was such a wonderful film. Violent Night obviously would be a one that is like super high A tier for me. I really love that film. But yeah, just to reiterate, chat. So here's the list. And then we'll move on to the next parts of the stream. At S tier, I have Die Hard, A Christmas Story, Gremlins, It's a Wonderful Life, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Muppet Christmas Carol, Nightmare Before Christmas, Home Alone, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the original Boris Karloff animated film, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Rankin Bass, Elf, and A Charlie Brown Christmas. I don't think that's controversial at all. I think those are S tier. I think you can make a good argument for all those. At A tier, I have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, both Miracle on 34th Street, the original and the remake, Scrooged, Trading Places, Frosty the Snowman, Bad Santa, The Christmas Chronicles. I'd put 1 and 2. Ernest Saves Christmas, and the body horror film, The Santa Claus. At B, I have the 2000 live action How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jingle All the Way, The Night Before, Home Alone 2, and A Madea Christmas, B for Black. At C, I have The Ultimate Christmas Present, Disney Channel original movie, Jack Frost, along with Michael Keaton, the Santa Claus sequels, Bobby Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol, Polar Express, Love Actually, Home Alone 3, Just Friends, and The Last Holiday. At F, The Stinkers, I have Home Alone 4, I think, 8 Crazy Nights, Christmas with the Cranks, and Why Him? And the never watched ones are the ones I never watched. Which I feel like, never seen. I guess I don't know if I have a desire to watch. Arthur Christmas. I know a lot of people that like really say like you should check out Arthur Christmas. That's a good one, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't think they're very hot takes at all. I think this is a very reasonable list, chap. I think at one point I think I'll do like a separate like Christmas horror movies list or something. That could be really, really fun. That'd be good. But yeah, chap, boom.